computer.
And for those of you who are online, we can mute ourselves so we don't interrupt him.
Great.
Go, Bernie.
How you doing, guys? Bernie here. I'll show you how to tie or not to tie a stimulator. I've been buying stimulators over the last couple of years because I just didn't really want to sit down and torture myself how to tie them. Like everything, when you ask good old Dr. Google who tied the stimulator, a couple of guys in the US, you've got Ralph Kluffman, then you've got Jim Slattery, and then you've got a couple of other people that are putting their hand up. It was normally used for the stonefly, but I use it for a lot of rivers up in the hills. And I normally use it with a nymph underneath, or I just throw it into very fast water. It's a pattern that if there's anything, any sedges, any caddises, anything that's on the water, even hoppers, I'll still put it up. So this is a pattern that I purchased, probably Aussie Angler or the Fly Fisher, around $5.50. Very good pattern. But the thing is, you can see it there, standard hook, got barbs on it. And look, it's great, but why buy them when you can have more fun tying them? So before I tie, I'm actually going to show you my first one and then my last two, just in relation to what I changed, what I started working on. Then we'll actually get into the fly tying. So that's the first one I tried. I still use standard deer here. I used a size 8 Temco TMC 200R hook. And as you can see, it looks okay. Still going to fish it, but it doesn't look anything like the boat stimulator. The hackle is also very tight up here, and my tail at the back is just splayed out. But the hackle itself, fairly tight. So that was my first attempt. I then went out and bought sedge hooks from the Fly Fisher. They're barbless. They've also got they're stronger wire. This was the first one, the Tiemco. It's a fine wire hook. So when you're tying and putting a bit of pressure on it, does bounce around a bit. So this here is the very last stimulator that I tied. So as you can see, yeah, we're still struggling with the legs, but I'm happy enough with everything else that's on it as well. So I'm tying down as far as a size 14. And then I started getting creative, changing out the hackles and working through them. So I put a very tight hackle in there and still using the deer here. Doing a bit of research online, I found out that, where did I get the name of them here? Spirit River, they've got elk hair that's called Stimulator elk hair, which is, most of the elk hair that you buy is bull elk, which is a couple of years old, 2 to 5 years old. It's nice and strong. You can use it for humpies. You can use it for elk and caddis, CDC caddis. But it's simply too big. It's too crinkly for stimulators. So Spirit River, it's ordered, hasn't come in yet. They've got a stimulator elk hair designed specifically for stimulator flies. And it won't crinkle, so it will give the fly a better finish. So tonight I'm just going to start off. I'm going to actually hopefully cheat. I'm going to start on a size 10 hook, and we'll then go down to a 12. As I'm tying along, just ask me any questions. So it's a size 10. Wait, now there we go. RX Freshwater Sedge Dry Barbless. Firestone have a really nice hook as well. And also Partridge had a Klinkhammer hook as well, but I didn't have them in stock. I'll show you them later. There's hooks I brought from Ireland. So I'll just pop it in the vise. Lock it down. So as you can see, right. Everybody can see? So first is just put on your standard threads. I'm using, where's my thread? I'm using Tan 70 UTC. So I'm using very fine thread. If you use a bulky thread, you're going to have a bulky fly. Because there is a lot of bulk on this, you're hammering in 2 hackles, you're putting in either floss, or you're putting in either some
on this computer and watch on
crystal
the
flash.
computer.
Yeah, well, you probably can put the
You
Zoom
can,
on there.
it's
Yeah,
an app.
just go on
All
to
good.
Google and whack it on.
Yeah,
And just to let you know, I've got 2 Bernie Ks, so that could be confusing. So look for the one where you can see my hand. The second one is just my face talking. So that's there, another fly where I've used a lot of crystal flash. So I'm going to put an orange crystal flash on it. So first thing, got my trade lap there. Grab my elk here. And good part of this fly is you're using elk hair twice, and you're using hackle twice. So cut your elk hair off, pull out your waist, and then get your stacker. Pop your elk hair into your stacker. Tap the bench and pull it out. And then just pull out any waste. And then also just make certain that you've got all your hackles out. So then tidy it up. You do see some people like moving the hook and the vise to get it timed down. I'm not going to do that because it does have a habit of slipping. So I'm just going to do virtually the gape of the hook, tie it in there, pinching loop, and wrap it up. So don't lock it in hard. So then you can start to lock it hard back away from the hook, because if you lock it hard up here, it's going to splay out. So you're going to get a shaving brush, not a nice fine pattern. Just chop it off as well. So that there is your, oh yeah, and it does move. So like everything, I like to cheat. Dab a super glue on top, stop it moving around. Grab your point and just come back at top of it as well. And put one layer of thread underneath just to pack it up. So that there is your tail on. Some people do put a bob of dubbing underneath, but I'm not going to do that because that's going to fade out. Next, you grab your wire. I'm just going to use copper UTC wire, small or brassy or copper. Just going to do ultra small. Should tear this off and just tie that in. And just tie that away. Then we're going to get our dubbing. So seeing a trick on loom, with the Bunnings, get your key rings for $1. You can have all your flash, all your dubbing. So you just cut off the corner and you just pull out what you want. So instead of having like a drawer or hanging up, you just I'm now putting all my packets, and then you can just twist it around as you want. So I've got my crystal flash, pull out the corner. And before that, I'm going to give it a bit of wax. So I'm using a Waspy Tacky, a premium dub wax. So that just makes everything stick together. When we come on to the next one, I'll change to a dry wax. So I've left it open to let it dry out. So it's not going to be as tacky as the first one. So grab out your bit of your flash. There's a bit of a UV in it as well. So it's just going to make the fly just stand out really well. So I'm going to tilt it up. Just give it a twist every time just to really lock it home. And then as it gets towards the end, just pull it off and just pull it back. So that's your flash ready for your fly. If you want, you can give it a bit of a trim. If you want to give it a bit of a profile. The only thing is, don't cut your thread because it does have a habit when you're there giving a trim. Next, you grab your hackle. So this is a size 10. I got my little sizing tool here. But I also seen Troutlower have a nice little bottle opener. I would get myself for Christmas. That's got a hackle guide. So just pull it back and try and see. Get one to match. Let's go. So I got one here, size 10. So as you can see, fairly long hackle. So you'll get 2 or 3, maybe 4 or 5s out of this. So I'm just going to pull it around, test it again. Yeah. Just pull it off. It's a bit webby at the front. So you just pull it down and just present it to the fly. So I'm just going to tie the whole thing in like this here. And then just give it a snip off. So that's your pattern. Just going to put a hitch and then use my tool. So now I'm just going to use my rotary device just to palmer it on. And important not to nick it, because if you do nick it, you're going to get a break.
You're bagged.
Yeah, you literally go, you have to start again. So just get your wire and just put the wire in nice and slowly. I wouldn't go back twisting, just use your hands. Because if you start using tools, you actually potentially could break. I probably would pox myself by saying that, but you don't want to break your wire. And just spin this over and choose over. So twist on my wire, grab my wire, helicopter it off or break it off. Then you got your hackle on the corner, grab your scissors, and just gently just push it up and it breaks up. So there's your hackle, ready for your next fly or your next one. Grab your magic tool, your Velcro or whatever. Give it an old brush. Just see how it sets out. And as you can see, it's sitting out nice here. You might want to trim that if you want. So that's the first part of the fly. It's the easy part done. You've got your tail, you've got your flash. That's the good thing about tying with elk hair. You're going to get everything covered in elk hair. Or you can buy a magic tool and trim everything really well. Pull off your waist. You can put it into a dubbing container if you want to be a bit frugal. Grab your head here again. Nice and top. Clean out your waist again. Pull out your waist. Now, this is a tricky bit because you don't want to, so you want to line it up to the end of the fly. I'm going to change hands by just changing it over. And I'm going to cut it off before I tie down. You could leave it there, but I'm just going to cut it off. So I'm just going to see how this goes. And if it doesn't work, we'll go back and work it in. So pinching loop. Pinch it in. Nice and easy, and then drive it home. So as you can see, it's going to sit up a bit, but we'll be able to work around that and then just put a bit of glue across it. Give it a bit of one. So that there is your post. One of the guys was talking about a bit of 4-leaf clover. For me, a bit of UV crystal flash. Grab off one piece. And grab off 2. Split it. Take it off. And just drag it underneath. And let that sit there. So you got your crystal flash there. Still not building a lot of body for your head. So that's your crystal flash. And then also on a late summer's day or evening, if it's snowy, you might want to see if it's doing the job of it's pulling something else underneath. I'm going to push a cider on it as well. So this is a phosphorus UV. Don't know what the name of it is, but guys in fly fisher talked me into it. It's some Japanese thing. $20 for that small little bit here, but it does light up on an evening. So I'm just going to just add that to the fly. Grab it here, bring it back, and just cut it down as well. And I'll brush that in after I'm finished the fly. Same thing again. Let's go. Elk here likes to slip. Another little drink. Oh, super glue. And look back as well. All right. I want to keep it fairly simple. As I'm going to use the same hackle. And I'm going to put in another guard hackle, and I'm going to change. So there was orange underneath, so I'm going to change to dark hair UV seals fur. So it gives it sort of like a fluorescent rainbow effect on it, and it will also allow me to build a bit of a bigger head. So before I do that, jumping ahead of myself, nearly got caught. Just tie back in your hackle. This time you just tie your hackle in. I'm not going to do legs in this one because I just want to do the first one without being super adventurous. And the next one I'll go for the legs. So grab a bit of dubbing. Using dry wax, not a tacky wax on this. Give it a little nice little rub. Come on. And then right. We're killing it. Let's take it back. Right, so my dubbing has gone a little bit crazy, so I'm just going to chop that. Chop that and get away with it. So over my head. And I'm going to just wind up. I'm going to put actually a tight number of tight winds here. And pull back. Just give it a quick nip. And then just whip finish all your head out of the way. And look at it. Oh no. All right. So we got caught. That it broke off at my whip. I think I'm okay. If it didn't, which it didn't, just gonna leave that there. Have some UV varnish here. Sort of a bit of advertising. It says a big varnish brush. I pulled it out. It was like a paintbrush, so I got rid of it. So I can just take a small little bit. Put it onto the fly. Add some UV. You can see the UV lighting up here as well on the fly. So brush out your wing, wipe your phosphorus, brush out there. So as you can see, that there is your humpy, or not your humpy, your stimulator with a ginger hackle or Cree hackle or badger hackle, sorry.
There's a lot of steps in there, Bernie, for it. Gee whiz.
There's actually a lot, and don't forget I haven't put in the rubber leg. I haven't put the rubber legs in. But bear in mind, that's a lot quicker than the first one I tied. The first one I tied, it was, there's a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
So that's a size 10, and I've tied it, I've tied it with all the same, with a badger hackle and the
With
same
the
type of
same
feather.
materials, yeah.
The same materials the whole way through.
Well, it was good that you made an error in that. We saw how you can fix up those errors right at the end there, which was great. I know you didn't intentionally mean to do it, but it's good to see it, knowing that you don't have to toss the fly away, that you can actually pick it up from where you left off and then, and finish it off.
Yeah, that's as you say that right hand point, the camera then jumps out of its little hoist. But yeah,
Bernie.
it's but it's the way I tie that. I wouldn't call it experience, but if it can break, I can get out of trouble.
Yeah, okay.
By using super, and that's why I use super glue.
Yeah.
That if something breaks, I'm fine. I don't have to go back.
That's super glue you got. It's got a little brush, has it? What brand is it?
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay.
Skelly's. Skelly's. Yes. And what I do is I've got two of them.
Yep.
So there's one here, it's gone off a couple of months. And what I've done with that one is I've actually cut down the tip.
All right. Yep.
So as you
Make it
can
flexible again.
to make it very flexible, yeah.
Yeah.
But I also leave that one open, so it gets fairly tacky. This one here is the new one, and I marked them. So that one's got a bit of a bigger brush on it as well.
Yeah. What brand's that one?
It's the same. It's the
Same Sally's. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I did see the marketing, and I went and got the guff varnish. And I thought it was going to be smaller, but it's I actually took the brush off it because it was too big.
Oh, right. Okay.
It was absolutely it was a brush nearly that size.
You
It was
can
just
paint a
too big.
wall with it.
Yeah, paint a wall, and it's not what I needed for resin. So Barry did tell me another trick about using resin this week is using the small.
That little thing jumped off that stand again.
It's jumping again. The font's too big, but anyway, that's it.
You leave the top off your super glue, it's hygroscopic, it'll suck up water and lose its potency.
There you go. This from the someone who knows something about chemistry, obviously.
No, it's only because we use it in radio control model aircraft. And when if you leave it open, the best way to keep super glue is in the fridge, screwed up tight, and it'll last for ages there.
Oh, right. Okay.
Sorry, guys, I just have to do a bit of running repairs here.
Just don't mistake it for something else.
I'll just
No.
So that there, as you can see, this one, it's got a real slender body, sparse hair, and then a badger hackle. So that's it's a double colored fly. So that's what I'm going to do next. Still going to keep it fairly simple. I'm going to use size 10 hook. I'm going to stick to size 10. You can go down to 18 if you want to torture yourself, which I would question why you'd want to do that.
other way.
Oh,
That's better. Yep, you're right. You're on mute, Bernie.
Got you. Back again.
Oh, good. Thank you. Okay.
This gimbal is going great, and now the gimbal is. I think Barry, it's the same guys that shipped from you. The wheels are coming off the stand.
Yeah, get that Neil Vinchet bloke on the line. He can do these great little phone holders.
I was saying this was great, and that, but now it's. I mean, I've literally. So there's my little holding strap. That's gone. Yeah. So, but anyway, we soldier on. That's not going to stop me. All right, back on track. Everybody can see. Let's add some threads. Let's see.
I don't know whether it's coming into focus. Just hold your hand there for a second. Not really. Oh, yes, it is now. Yep.
Not really.
Not really. Going in and out.
Yeah, it's getting there.
Off to your right. To your right.
Beautiful.
And bring it back, I'd say. Back towards you, if you can, just a fraction.
How's that?
Yes. Is that all right, Barney?
Yeah, that's good, Bill.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
It's good.
All right, round 2.
I like your manicure too, Bernie.
Thank you.
He has everything done.
We talked about this prior to the presentation.
Ooh.
Yeah, I had to chop it. Yeah, you can see the tops of them. Maybe that's why I need that new voice. It just keeps slipping. Keep telling myself that, you know. I did look at that voice, the Stoneflow Explorer, but didn't purchase in the Fly Fisher.
Oh, you could get a Christmas bonus.
$700 for a voice? No. It's nice, but no. I'm going to give myself a rod for Christmas. I'm also going back to Ireland for Christmas as well, so I booked flights last night.
Oh, did you? All right.
Yeah. I had to just bite the bullet and just give up trying to see could I get a cheap flight.
Just wanted to be sure.
Yeah.
To be sure.
Yeah. That's out of the top.
Sorry, Bernie.
That's just, it was too easy, Tony, wasn't it? It's too easy.
What you pay for your flight back, Bernie? Would have been astronomical.
$3,500 altogether. So that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
Yeah,
That's not bad for one way.
There's no more.
Are they going to provide you with a pilot for that amount of money, or?
Well, that's not too bad. I'm going to via Doha. If I wanted to go via Singapore with the Qantas lads, it was a $5,000 flight.
Okay.
So I think I'll take the detour via Doha.
Yeah.
And I don't have to. I did spend a bit of time playing around with flights because the first flight I did look at was $4,000 and I had to spend a night in Qatar, Doha. So I was like, nah, probably not up to that. Sunburn at the moment to me, you're not getting on well.
All right.
So,
And
I'm not a big.
Bernie, we're talking vices as we were, and is that a peak vice? I can see the.
Yeah,
peak.
it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a peak. It's a peak vice, and it's a rotary vice.
Yeah.
And it's got metal base. It's a great vice.
Yeah.
But it's just, yeah, it's like everything, you know. You have a great voice and you see another one, you want the other one.
Well, there were some people who I won't be mentioned who had 2 Norvices in action in the same room.
Oh,
Recently.
no, that's just wrong.
It's us, they're not Norvices.
Yeah, but one was male, one was female.
That's
then it's okay.
Yeah.
makes it okay then.
As long as you don't talk to each other.
Oh,
All right, so I'm going to put in the gold UTC wire. Everything I'm using is fine. Like the wire is super fine. If you add in a heavier wire, just take it back so you can see what happened there when I pulled it down too hard. It flared out straight away. Not going to put super glue in this because I think I'm going to trust it, and I want to put a very slim noodle of body on it. So I'm going to start playing a little bit. Wouldn't call it showing off. Just going to put a dubbing noodle So I've got my dubbing slip here, got my twister, I've got my tacky wax. Going to stick with the orange, I really do like it. And I can also going to go super thin here on a dubbing needle. So I'm just going to pop it down, just let it sit there. And I'm going to grab my spinner, grab it in here, move that out of the way, and spin. So that there is going to be my dubbing. I'm just going to give it a
Gee, you
quick
do a
just-
fair bit of spinning on it there. It's quite a lot, isn't it?
yeah, I'm hanging on it, but I want it tight.
Yeah, okay.
I want it tight. And I'm going to risk it all. So if it breaks, it breaks. That's one of the good things with your dubbing needle, that you can actually move it out to make a nice little tight rope. Let's sit there, stop it. And then move my out of the way. Just going to give it another twist. Then we're just going to the old rotary vise in action. So as you can see, you can bend a nice little rope there. Twist up. So I'll stop, let you have a look at it. So that's your dubbing rope. As you can see, it's a lot tighter than the previous one, where I wrapped it by hand. So you can tighten this up. I'm now going to go for a second. I'll go for brown hackle first. So you got your pack of 100, which is a bit of a marketing. So there's 10 feathers to get you 100 flies, but I do question that. Same thing is drop it on the hackle guard. Ignore the lads across the park. Having a couple of beers, getting a bit vocal. So present your hackle, tie it down as well, and just break it off. And then I'm going to actually twist this one really hard. So you can see the segments working down. This one, yeah, I mean, ooh, I got away with it. You did see what I did there? I bounced it on the barb. Let's pull this out of my way. Get my wire. And bounce it through. And just tear it off. Just keep that out of the way. Grab. And then just pop it straight through. As you can see, bit of a bushier fly, a bit more color to it. Not going to say that I finished well here, but we'll pop on some air here on the back, so it's going to get it come in as well. So you might question, do you buy them for $5-6, or do you spend a couple of hours getting used to tying them, and then
$5 is pretty cheap, Bernie.
Well, yeah, I think it is cheap. I do see them at a different price. But it's good fun. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm confident in them, but I'm not scared of them anymore.
I reckon you faced your nemesis and beat him.
Yeah. So, and I've ordered in. So you can see what happens. I've just tied this one straight. So just come here and try, snip. Boom. Come with a little bit of super glue.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's got the hair on there. Get it moved around a little bit. Bring it back. And now we're going to put on. Going to go for. I've got a small bit of feather left, so I'm going to use that for the head, or I can go brown again. But I want to get it actually matching up. This here is going to be a bit tight. So grab another one here. It's a bit wetty. There we go. Yeah. And I'm going to add a Polar Flash white. As my dubbing. Put on the attack. So tie in my feather. Turn it off. Get my flash. As you see, we've done it again, but that's cool. And get my iron. And I just start lashing it in there. Ooh.
Now, Bernie, take your time.
I know why I'm breaking it. It's because the skin of my hands is a bit rude.
Well, that last bit is where a lot of people just crowd the eye and can't make it. Beautifully done, mate.
So there you go there. Stimulator number 2. This time a bit more bulk on it. You can, if you want, come in and clip these down. So it sits on the water a little bit. That's if you want. So that's stimulator number 2. Let's put some resin on it.
Hey, Bernie,
Yeah.
out of lockdown today, have you been to the hairdresser?
I had a little bit of a trim,
Yeah.
but then at 5 o'clock. Their last session. Well, I had to because I did a bit of a DIY job myself. That was fine for Zoom, but not for walking around. So the sides were just done, but the back was, yeah, let's just say. So as you can see the fly lighting up with the UV. So that's fly number 2.
Very good.
Up there. Another fly, which I'm not going to tie, but I will show you what I did play with it, because when you get into comfortable with elk hair, it is a bit slippy. You can have a crack at a humpy. But like the stimulator, the humpy needs 5 to 6 year old elk. So it needs the older elk, while the stimulator needs the younger elk. I also, with this one here, put on a squirrel's tail for the tail. I then put my head on and then split my hair and use the ginger hair. So Humpy was another fly that I was struggling with. And then also, this was my last stimulator fly that I tied. I put a claret head on it and put the legs on it as well. So if everybody is keen, if you want to sit on, I can tie one with legs, but it would take me a bit longer because I'm not going to say the legs. The legs is what have to slow you down as well. So, any questions?
Bernie, elk hair is very, very long hair. I don't think I've got
Yes.
anything as long as that in my hair supplies. It's mad, it's huge.
So that's your standard hair, which I'd say most
Yeah.
people have, which is like a short hair, and then you've got
Yeah.
your winter roll hair, and then you've got your bleached. You know, you can never have enough hair, as I say. You know, but for stimulators, it needs to be bleached back. Well, not needs to be, but
I might be able to use that for a week, I think.
you probably might be able to. You know,
I can see a sporran coming out of that.
yeah.
That's
And
more
then,
like a sparring.
it does the job, but
Just leave the mud guards as they are, mate.
just on the side, I did also, you know, getting back to my old favorites of dry flies.
He likes the hopper, is it? Oh, yeah.
Super easy to tie, but I also then put like a UV resin underneath that floats. So they're just like, just bomb proof, you know, super easy to tie. And, you know, you think they're hard until you start doing stimmies. Then, they're super easy. But the good thing is,
Has anybody got any other questions at all? Because
so that's a size 18, where I've used, now I'm not going to lie, I did take my time with this, and I used even smaller thread. One
Wow.
second, we'll get some white stuff here.
Gee
I'll give
whiz.
you an example
Mm.
of that. So, it's all about getting the right hooks, getting the right hair, you know, screwing up a couple, and learning how to, you know, when you do break the wire, getting out of trouble.
Anthony Irvin's got a question. Go, Anthony, if you're on.
Yeah, still got it. Can you hear me, Benny?
Yep. thank
Yeah,
you.
no worries, mate. Can you hear that loud and clear?
On the first fly, you tied a cider on it with that stuff you said the fly fish had talked you into, that
Yeah.
UV sort of stuff. I just didn't follow how that's the stuff. Not simple for you, but when you tied it on, you just wrapped it under the.
I put it on. I put it on
Put a knot.
top. Well, no. What I did is I just actually snuck it in underneath, underneath the hook.
And then,
So what I had done was I had. I'm actually trying to find the fly here now. Sorry. So what I'd done was I had tied here we go, got it. I had tied in the elk hair first. So I tied in the elk hair, then I'd put the flash, and then right underneath I snuck in this sighter, and then I combed the sighter into the elk hair. So it merges in top of the fly. So if you see it here now, see the way it sits on top?
Mm.
So
how did you tie it in though? That's like, so you looped it under the shank, and then did you twist it? Not like I just missed it.
No, I didn't. All I did was I actually just tied it in and just slipped it back. So I'll just very quickly show you what I did here.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to. So I just got first one of the things is with a stacker, get a big brass one. So you can just, it's got the weight. You see a lot of plastic ones, it's got static, it's got everything. So I'm just putting my arc here in. So this is your hair. So I've tidied it up. So it's sitting there. I then get my bit of UV. So I'm gonna bring my thread up to the front. So you have your UV here.
Mhm.
First you just bring it in and you have it like this. So you see it? And then you just hold it up on the top and wind the thread back. So it sits there like a wing. So that's the flash. I'll cut that off. And I'm going to get some of my poly yarn or UV yarn, same thing is.
Slow now, Ben.
Yeah, we'll work on that. So you have your bit of flash underneath.
Oh, underneath the thread.
Underneath the thread.
Yeah,
So
there you go.
see the
See,
way
yep,
there?
yep.
Yep.
Pack it down. Then keep it
Ah,
high. And then step your thread back. So step it back.
right.
And that's it. Now that's also another way for doing your post as well.
Posts, yeah.
So you can do your posts the same way as well.
It's a very quick way to put posts in that way.
Yeah. So then you just cut it.
Beautiful.
Excellent. Thanks very
And
much.
then you get your bit and then just brush it straight in. So
Yeah.
see the way it brushes in there, lovely.
Hmm.
And then just
I think there's a little lesson here on hand whip finishing, Bernie, at some stage or other.
Whew.
I actually had to practice to use one of these. I couldn't use them.
You told
I
me.
had to practice because I was like double two hands. I can whip finish by my hands, but I had to go to YouTube to try and find out how to do it.
Oh,
And
God.
if you crowd the eye, the best one is just to use the end
Super glue.
like a paintbrush, with a little artist paintbrush.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. My whip finisher's actually got the hollow end, and I just use that, wrap that around. If you have, like we all do, crowd the eye at some stage, and then just slip the threads on, particularly if it's a tight finish up near the head, it works like a charm.
Yeah.
It works. It's charm. Another one is to use your super glue on the thread.
Yep.
Two wraps or three wraps, and hold the super glue down. Hold the thread down on the tension. Let it dry, and then go up and cut it off. The thing is, it could give though, but that's what you do. I mean, there's a fly in itself.
Like an old bag fly.
Yeah,
Like an old bag.
does the
Works
job.
well.
Are we finished recording, Bill?
No, we're still recording. If
Oh, that's okay.
do we need to do anything else, or I'll pull it
I
up?
better watch my P's and Q's then.
Okay, I'll pull it up.